Alexa, play the First Three Knocks podcast on Spotify.
Okay. Playing the newest episode of the First Three Knocks Masonic podcast on Spotify.
Here we go, episode 18. 18 or 19? 19.
On today's episode, we're recapping our first season on the First Three Knocks.
You're listening to the First Three Knocks, a Masonic podcast in the District of York, where we discuss topics for the betterment of Masonry. The opinions discussed in this podcast are those of the individual and do not represent the views of Grand Lodge or any other Masonic body. Now, here are your hosts.
Well, good afternoon, brethren.
Hello.
Here we are again at the Rising Sun Lodge, or Aurora Temple in Aurora, Ontario. I am Bert Tellier, Worshipful Brother Bert Tellier, your co-host and Worshipful Master of the Rising Sun Lodge. Sitting here, of course, with Brother Gino Scovio, our co-host from also at the Rising Sun Lodge, and of course our talented producer, Brother Steve Sprott from Zaradatha in Uxbridge, Ontario.
Hello, everybody.
Wow, what a season this has been.
Episode 19. Just amazing.
Yeah, it's been an incredible ride up to this point. We're coming to you today recapping the first season we've had here on the First Three Knocks, and I think it's just fair to say that it's been absolutely fantastic.
Yep, only a short 3.5 months, and who would have thought we'd be where we are with the amazing project that we worked on from the very beginning to where we're at now. And again, we're just opening it up. It's just starting. So just I keep blowing my mind. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I had no idea. I don't think any of us, all three of us sitting here, are kind of awestruck by what has happened over the past 3.5 months. And Brother Sprott, I think our first episode was in April?
April 11th, I believe it was. I could be wrong, but somewhere around then.
It feels like that was about 4.5 years ago. At
Oh,
this point,
it does.
We have done so much work in that time.
Yeah, it's been busy. It's but it's been a lot of fun, and I think we've certainly exceeded our expectations of what we wanted to do with this podcast. We really just wanted to create that platform for brethren in the district of York District. And it's just morphed into so much more.
Yeah, we hopped in that Ferrari, hit the gas, and we're still flying down the road.
We have any gas left in the tank? I'm not sure.
It's time to fill up and get ready for season 2 coming up. But again, it's a great opportunity today to just recap where we started, the idea sitting around your table.
Yeah.
And just talking and figuring out what we wanted to do and put all those ideas together, and then boom, 3.5 months later, where we are. And just, again, phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised at the amount of support and help we've received along the way. So many brethren have gotten behind us, offered advice, made themselves available, told us where to go, who to talk to. And that made it definitely so much easier for us to get this thing up and running.
From absolutely every single level, too. And that was, for me, again, just another eye-opener of what this fraternity is all about. So, great point.
Yeah, I think we're just coming off the annual communication of Grand Lodge that was down at the Royal York. Of course, we recorded some episodes down there, but now that the dust has settled a little bit, we're back in the studio and getting on track again. And I think it's worthy to mention big congratulations to our newest district deputy Grand Master of York District, Right Worshipful Brother Al Dresser, and his district secretary, Kelly Holden, who were just named, I guess it's been 2 weeks now since we were down there. So we have new leadership, and they got some big shoes to fill as well. I think, big shout out to Right Worshipful Brother Scott Rickman, and now very worshipful Brother Mike Redman, our past DDGM and past district secretary. They did a phenomenal job this past year.
And people think at these particular months in the summer we're on recess, but they're doing the whole transition thing, and I think sitting down with the the past DDGM and district secretary, and they're just getting everything ready for the next new season ahead, which is coming around the corner in September. So again, I'm sure they're hard at work, getting everything ready to go. I'm going to start sharing where they want to go and what they want to do, and I'm excited to see where we're going and what's coming down those pipes. So fantastic.
Oh yeah, they've worked hard.
Yep.
Absolutely. So I guess guys, maybe let's talk a little bit about how our season went here. We had some highs, we had some lows, and everything in between. I guess, Gino, what's your thoughts? What were the highlights for you this season?
Well, again, I always say, I've been sitting here and I've been listening to the first episodes. I've kind of like recapping where we've gone over the last couple weeks, and for me, I like to say that word fun, but it really truly has been an amazing fun ride. We've had some wonderful guests. We've had some amazing topics. We had some amazing stats to support these things. For me, Neil Grammer, who's not even a Mason, came on to talk about communication, and he truly just for me, I'm always remembering, it's like a beer in a bar.
Beer in a bar.
Like stop with all the fluff, stop with all the add-ons, just get to the point, communicate, and plan, move forward, and continue on. And then just again sitting with my sponsor every time that we do this in you, Bert, and having the opportunity a couple times to sit with my other sponsor, who happened to be the Right Worshipful, Brother Rickman, just to see and learn while sitting here recording these type of things. Talking to, for me, every episode has just been a build on to more excitement. I haven't really recognized too many lows, other than our own mistakes that we've made along the way. But that's the learning curve, right? And so again, we were talking about it earlier. We should have tried to do a blooper reel, but we really haven't had that many bloopers. We're just talking openly, and we want to share what we're doing and going through. And so I've had those kind of moments that have been sitting with me well.
Yeah, I think it flows really well. I mean, like I was saying, off the recording, I haven't cut out a single line of audio.
Would that be because they're so well said? I think I'd like Neil Grammer to hear that. How about yourself, Steve? What's been the highlights for you?
Well, I got involved with the podcast right off the bat. I was made entered apprentice, and within 2 months, I was, within a month actually, I was at your kitchen table, Bert, and we were talking about doing the podcast, and so it really accelerated my time in Masonry. I think the amount of people that I've met has been incredible. My phone contact list and my Facebook friend list has just like doubled over the past 3-4 months, and I think that has been the best thing for me, is just meeting all the incredible people, and it really has accelerated my time in Masonry.
I didn't even think about that a second ago, but that's absolutely 100%. Again, our contacts have just grown so much, and really getting to know the guys out there.
Yeah, it's
not
incredible.
Just in our district, but beyond. Like, just a great point.
And really, I had no expectations at all for this podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting into. It was something I was interested in just because I like the audio aspect of it and putting these things together. But I really had no idea what was going to come of it, and if 2 people were going to listen, if 2,000 people were going to listen, or 20,000 people. I really had no idea, right?
What are those numbers right now? Do we know?
Bert, do you have those numbers?
Yeah, I think we had a chance to look at some of the stats, of course, as we're sitting here recapping the season 1, and we're blown away. We had a lot of folks listen in, and in fact, to put that in context, we had almost 4,000 listeners, whether between YouTube or all of the platforms that we launched the podcast on. And to be specific about that, there's quite a few, because Steve, you've been very busy. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Podbean, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, Anchor, and YouTube. So there's not too many I think we have not hit.
Except for TuneIn. I know worshipful brother
Shout out to Julian
Bolster was looking for TuneIn, but we're not there yet. Maybe one day.
It'll be on our to-do list, perhaps. But, I think about those numbers, almost 4,000 listeners. We have something like 75 subscribers now. We were just looking at the stats here a few minutes ago, and we've got folks kind of tuning in around the world.
Yeah.
I think 13% of them were coming from the U.S., which is great. It means that there's interest south of the border, or on the other side of the imaginary line, which is good. and we've seen some stuff over in Europe as well.
We have Italy, we have Brazil,
Ciao.
we have all over. I can't remember all the places now off the top
We got
of my
one
head.
in
but-
Ghana too.
Yeah,
like,
Ghana,
again,
yeah.
just amazing.
Yeah, really impressive. I mean, I think that just shows the reach that this platform can create for not just Masonry in our district, but Masonry in general.
Yeah.
You know, and I think worshipful brother Julian Bolster said it really well on the interview we had with him, where guys are looking to connect. They're looking for a way to connect, and we don't know how to do that. I think he said that well.
Would you say that was one of your highlights then? Again, you asked us about what we liked as far as some of the highs, some of the lows. What have you taken from it?
Yeah, there's been so many highs. I mean, number one for me is I've really had a good time working with you guys. I mean, we've spent a lot of time together over the last few months, whether it was at our place or other lodges or down at Grand Lodge, wherever we had to go, we were there, and we were pumping the app, which I think really gave it a good boost. But more importantly, we gave a voice to Masonry in this area. I enjoyed spending that time with you guys. I really like hanging out with you guys. And you know, contrary to popular belief, you're both a lot of fun.
Cheers.
That was definitely
The
one of
secret's
the
out.
that was definitely one of the highlights for me. I think the other one that I kind of mentioned at the beginning is just the support that we received from brethren in Masonry. And, you know, big surprise, right? Who knew that Masons were going to be so
Supportive
helpful
and
supportive?
and be there for you.
Absolutely. I mean, I really was unsure if we were going to be pushed off into the corner saying, oh, there's those weird guys trying to put us on the air type of thing. But that is not what happened. We got a ton of support. And I have to tell you, that really warmed my heart, because I think we've got so many more miles to go now with that group of support.
Well, we had a lot of nervous Nellies on here as well, and then after they sat with us, they realized, you know what, we don't bite.
Not that bad.
Yeah, we don't bite, and they had a lot of fun, and we said, hey, if you need us back, we're more than happy. I think we got a lineup of guys who really want us to call upon them, but you know, we are certainly trying our best to get through some other ideas, some other contacts, some other interviews that we have lined up in the upcoming year. Another great point to talk about is especially our last episode. You know, we just had a great comment on the ideas that came from our fraternal episode was something that they're going to try to implement in their lodge about a rolling social night throughout the district and stuff like that. And so again, that's exactly what I think we tried to set out to
Nailed
do,
it.
right? Share out there within the public the perspective of what we do within, you know, Masonry here and the connections we make, but also be able to share what we do within our district and maybe have that roll out to others to give it a shot, give it a try. So it's those moments that, and I'm an emotional guy, that bring tears to my eyes. Joys, right? Yeah.
I hadn't noticed. You're kind of a passionate guy, actually. I think that would really describe you well.
Thanks.
It's actually one of the things I really appreciate about you working on this podcast is your enthusiasm for the craft is second to none. And I know you've heard that from others, not just me, but that passion that you brought to this podcast has really given us a leg up in talking to the right people at the right time about the right topics. Man, you're infectious.
Well, again, it's not just me here; it's us. We certainly make a fantastic team, and we've gelled from day one. We've not had any butting of any heads. We really do, I think, respect each other's ideas. Sprott, the mastermind behind the curtain, the Wizard of the Oz, you know, like just amazing his talent.
He's too tall to fit behind a curtain, isn't he?
We would see, I guess, what his head, at least something there. But yeah, I mean, again, brand new Mason in the craft, introduced to us by worship brother Don Kimball. A fantastic time to just put these guys together. And the rest is, as you say, history, and we're making history.
Yeah, you know, it's
awesome.
I think you raise a really good point, and I got to comment on Sprotty a little bit as well, because the stuff that you've brought to us. I mean, I've learned more about social media and technology in 4 minutes with you than I have in the last 25 years, and I am absolutely thankful that you invested that time to help us do that, help us create the podcast.
You just have to know a little bit more than that person that you're speaking to. So I just.
Well, the good news is there's a lot of people who know very little, so I think that we're in good stead. But no, the work that you've done on this podcast is yeoman's work. I mean, look at the stuff that has gone onto social media. And folks, if you haven't checked out some of the more recent stuff, we're now on Instagram. We are
We
on
got
our
Twitter, we
Facebook.
got Facebook. I mean,
Yeah.
we're everywhere right now, and we're really flooding that social media market. Again, for the betterment of mankind, in my opinion, not just Masonry. It really is bringing Masonry to a level where people can kind of get a sneak peek as to what we're doing and how we do it, and not talking about the ritual, mind you, but just who we are and what we strive to be out there in our community. And it would be wrong of me not to thank you, Bert, for bringing this idea to light. It really came from, hey, you ever thought of an Apple or an app and you listen to these guys, Ezekiel Bates, and really,
Ezekiel
honestly,
Bates,
without
yeah,
that
we
night here
owe
in this
them.
lodge room, you put a light in my head, and I thought, well, we can do that. I mean, it's just a matter of, again, putting the right guys in place, looking at some research, figuring some things out. And I think it was less than about a week and a half later, we were at your kitchen table.
Yeah.
Without you and your ideas and the questions that you kind of come up with to figure out the topics that we're going to do. I'm just the pretty face, man.
Perfect face
We got
for
the
radio,
talent,
Gino.
we got the brains, and yeah, I'm just the pretty face, and I love this ride so far. So,
Yeah, it's been good.
what do we got coming ahead this next new year? What are we looking at doing?
Oh
What
man,
do
we
wanna
got
accomplish?
so many cool topics ahead. I mean, coming out of Grand Lodge, I think that really, for me personally, that exploded my mind, and I think gave us some really great insight on things that we can go after. Right? I mean, we've already, I think, precursor here, talked to the Grand Master about some of the work going on in our district and our jurisdiction as well. College of Freemasonry, I think, is a great set of topics we want to get into. Sankey lectures is just loaded with great information we could dig into. I think the one that we've talked about that probably is the most interesting is kind of busting out a little bit and getting into some other districts and some other regions. So that's kind of an open invitation here on the podcast to guys
yeah,
that are listening.
absolutely.
If you have some interesting topics or some things that you want to show off in your district or your lodge, reach out to us. We'd love to hear some feedback. We'd love to hear some ideas, and we're willing to travel. So, you can reach out to us on email. What's that email?
The first 3 knocks at gmail.com.
Perfect. There you go. So
And 3 is spelt out.
spelt out,
Yes.
not the number 3.
Just
The
like
first
in the
3
logo.
knocks. The first 3 knocks at gmail.com. And so reach out to us. We'd love to hear some feedback, but if you have some things that you really want to pump up in your district and or at your lodge level, and I will say outside of this jurisdiction of Ontario as well. I mean, we talked about going down to the U.S.
Yep.
I'm down there quite a bit for work, traveling. I know
We got some
Sprotty's down there
family
all
out
the time.
You're out there with work again, so we're willing to cross those
Yeah.
borders and even hop on planes and get to other places. I mean, we'll make it happen. If you want to talk with us, we'll come down and talk to you. And again, it's not just the things you're doing, but like if you got some amazing, talented guys, like we had an awesome guest here not too long ago, a fantastic poet in Masonry, and it's those little unique pieces that make the difference, I think, too.
Oh, Brother
if
Dennis
you got
Rollins,
that,
yeah.
fantastic.
Man, wasn't that a cool? That was a cool episode.
I still get
wasn't it?
goosebumps when I listen to the words of those poems, and we got a couple other ones that he did just for us, and it was again like I get goosebumps, I get the chills.
Yeah.
The power in his words and the meanings behind it, just very eloquent, but very
I got to tell you, on a personal level, I've never experienced that before.
No.
I mean, I grew up in Northern Ontario in a small town, and my life revolved around playing sports and having fun, going hunting and fishing, those kinds of things. And so poetry is not something in my lexicon, not something I was really exposed to. And that was truly one of the first times I've been exposed to poetry. Not only poetry, Masonic poetry on top of that. The meaning and the expression that Brother Rollins put into that, I mean, it really touched me personally. I was like, hey, this poetry thing might be something. This is,
absolutely.
I think this internet isn't just a fad. It might actually be going somewhere. Like it really stuck with me. That was one of the.
I think that was one of my favorite
Yeah?
episodes by far. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
One of our other most recent ones that we did was we had the president of the Wardens Association, and again, shortly after, I don't know if I had the chance to share. It's been a bit of a hectic, busy couple weeks at work, but We had a couple of brethren within our district that said, oh, we listened to that, and when's your next meeting? Because we're definitely coming. Just from, again, talking about where it's gone this past season, and the last couple that we ran with again at the time, now Right Worshipful Brother Alan Dresser doing the actual work, in-house, in lodge, doing and leading and showing us the examples. We have already 2 other guys that said, you know what, we've been meaning to come, but there's definitely something more there that I think we missed, and we'll see you the next meeting. And it's out there on the app, it's out there on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're really pumping the information well in advance so you can plan ahead. It's just keeping our finger on the pulse, letting people in the know, and again, having it well in advance so you can plan around it. So again,
Yeah, I think that was one of the real benefits from the app this year, and we're going to take a minute to pump that a little bit. But what are we up to now? 150 guys?
We are at so again, Facebook at about 173. We've climbed up about another 5 in the last little while, but the app is like it's clipping at its heels. There, we're at 143 right now in the app. And again, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I'm looking forward to the new year. But you actually made some mention the other day when we had our last again season-ending meeting at your kitchen table once again, and I really thought we were at about 10% of our overall membership here in the district. But then you reminded me of the actual active members, and when we looked at those numbers, we're more at like 32 to 35% of the active members here in our district that are on that app, which is fantastic. So, again, others have moved farther away and they can't make it all the time, or just in their elder years are not able to be there as much. But, we're going to try to reach out to them and to, again, get them on board just so that they can see from a distance through a click of a button what's going on and be a part of it. And we might get some of those rusty Masons back if they're able to. It's an easy way to communicate amongst your own lodges or amongst your own brethren. So just a quick click might be able to say, hey, I can't drive anymore, or I can't actually physically get myself there, but would you be willing to come and help? And I guarantee, you make that call,
somebody's coming.
We'll come running.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the app has been a blessing, I think. There's very few excuses left before I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. The information's easily available.
For those that aren't on the app now, how would they be able to get to it?
So again, it's something through an app. You can get it on Google Play, or you can get it on your Apple App Store. You got to download Team app first. Create your account on Team app, and then look up York District Masons. And just by clicking on that, a pop-up will come up. I've asked for a couple of questions in there. I just want to know what lodge you're at, who your secretary is, and obviously, will you please abide by Grand Lodge social media policy? That's important. And once I get those answers, within seconds, you're approved. There's a couple of us now that have the administrative authority, so to speak. So we're in there all the time. We get notifications, and you get approved, and you're right in there. And we're about to come out with it's already been created. We're not really pumped the tires of it just yet, but we have a public site also, because we really want to share with our public audience who might be curious about the craft. They might be curious enough to want to join, or they're just curious as to what we're doing. Again, we're sharing all the public stuff that we're able to share, where lodges are, and some of them having open houses and such, maybe different friend-to-friend events that might be going on. But more importantly, we're also pointing them to Grand Lodge website, so they really get to see who we are, what we're all about. There's a fantastic gallery of pictures that we've loaded up in there. So it's really not just for us anymore in our fraternity. It's for pretty much everybody out there, and they really get a little taste of what they can find. So they can find either or. Again, we get immediate approval. And talking to the app and how, we've only been doing a little bit of the podcast and such, I just realized the other day, pumping the Rising Sun golf tournament up.
Oh, yeah.
I immediately sent out a quick notification to remind everybody. And I found on there, and it's been there the whole time, but once we add a notification, number one, it gets emailed to you if I turn that on. So we don't always have to wait now, especially in summer break when everybody is a little bit busier, for it to come through your district secretary. It immediately goes to all our members. And I'm also able to set a reminder. So it can just go by itself in 2
very
weeks
nice.
or a month or whatever. So when we have some really important things that we really want to make sure we've got a good audience coming, again, the amount of communication that it can provide, right down to if we really wanted to turn other buttons on, we can even ask for RSVPs. So when we have our special dinners on certain nights, you know exactly what your counts are. You know, if we needed to, I mean, we have a special event coming up at Zeradetha, the 150th anniversary.
What's this now?
What's going on, right? September. What's the date again?
I should know this.
Yeah, I think it's September 15th or 16th on there. We'll go over it later.
Ask me in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's another one that you could even turn on. And again, it's going to be having a limit because they only have so many seats that are able to sell. But we can turn on an actual button that you could buy a ticket. And then again, it's all done online. So like you said seconds ago, there's no excuses anymore. You know, you can learn about it. You can be reminded of it. It gets right to your inbox if you don't want to click a button to turn the app on. And furthermore, we have other tools that we can build into it that would give us better planning to be ready for all our friends and guests that arrive.
Well, I'll tell you one small example here, but we've been having open houses here at the Rising Sun Lodge. Thanks to your great creativity, we have the farmers market here in Aurora, Ontario, every Saturday morning. And so we've just opened up the lodge. And of course, we have good traffic going by and people stopping in, and they want to learn more about masonry and our historic temple, etc. I'll tell you, having worked 2 Saturdays in a row on that, the best thing I had in my hand was the app.
Yeah.
Both for showing how we communicate, but more importantly for those who are not Masons, they have easy access to information now that didn't really exist before. Instead of going to a website or, here, send an email to this email address, it is all right there.
Yep.
And I'm sure I showed 10 or 15 different people, just download this. And
I got one request I approved last week.
There you go.
And I'm sure more are coming. I'm sure that they're looking at it before they click the I want in on to see what more there is. But 1 out of 10 is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's been great. Did you find that date? I think it's the 15th or 16th.
It is the 16th, September 16th.
September 6th. So if you didn't already buy a ticket, you want to come to that event 100%.
Yeah.
150 years.
I don't know if they still have tickets available. They are $30 for the banquet, but it's free, obviously, to come to lodge after. So even if you just want to come to lodge, it'll be a night of education. They're not going to be doing any degrees or anything, but
awesome.
All education on the history of Zeradetha. So.
Well, that'll be a brilliant night, and I know that you have the new Grand Master.
He will be there. Yes, he will be in attendance.
So David, most worshipful Brother David J. Cameron will be attending, and that will be a special night, definitely for Zeradetha, but I think for the district overall,
absolutely.
That is a big opportunity to attend that one.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. We'll be there. We've been told tickets are put aside, so we'll be there.
Yeah, maybe just the other one to talk about is the Max Dean Rising Sun
golf
tournament.
Got that coming up September 7th. Again, that is not just a fraternal golf tournament. It is open to the entire public, to our friends, our families, our wives, our partners, our ladies, our kids, if they want to come, and they can golf too. It's at the Westview here in Aurora. Again, info's on the app. It's $175 to golf. If you don't want to golf and just want to enjoy the social aspect of it, we have an amazing steak dinner that they provide, and that's a $60 fee. And I don't have the district charity info yet, but we do work hard to raise some monies for charity, because that's very important of what we do within this craft as well. Last year, we were able to provide a little bit of assistance to Carrie's autism here in Aurora, and also did a little bit of work for the Canadian Autism Spectrum. So again, it's exactly what we do. We put even some, we do a widow's dinner, and we help support that through that event. We have benevolence fund, which helps brothers in need. So again, we don't use that money for our own purposes or our own fun times. We really put it aside for the use of others. And it's a lot of great fun. We've never got rained on. I'm going to knock on this. We're going to hear it in the podcast, but it's Worship Brother Les Goth has said it never rains on Masons. Even when it's calling for rain, it never rains on Masons. And in every event that I've gone to that it's supposed to rain,
right.
it's the second we're done, it opens up, the heavens open up and it pours. But somehow he knows, he says,
Yeah.
I
How does
called
he
him
know
out for
that?
good.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I don't know what secrets he knows that I don't, but maybe
Yeah.
that's what masters get to figure out. I
Maybe,
don't know, right?
maybe those are the
Right?
secrets.
I got a few years away, so we'll see. But yeah. What else we got on the docket there to chat about?
Well, I'll tell you what, we definitely going to be going back to the annual communication of Grand
yeah.
Lodge next year. That is one of our targets.
I think we already booked a table.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely make sure that all takes place and happens, and maybe get some swag going and have a little bit of support like that, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's definitely on our list of things to do. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to lean into, and again, I open up that invitation to everybody listening. Reach out to us, give us some feedback. If you have special events or you see opportunities where you want to take advantage of this platform, which is the First Three Knocks, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, again, it's important. We're not just a York District Masonic podcast. We are a Masonic podcast.
Yeah.
And so we're willing to come to you if you can't come to us. We can do a bedside if we needed to, Again, if we got some elder guys that really have some amazing experience and want to share their stories, but they're just stuck, we're happy to come to you. We can meet anywhere. We can go anywhere. A little bit of planning, and we're good to move forward. Ottawa would be a nice place, again, to go talk to Rick Cutta.
Oh, you have favorites, huh?
Well, I mean, it gets close to kind of visiting my daughter, who's out in Quebec, and
there you
miss
go.
that she's out that way. But I think College of Freemasonry would be a great topic, and see where they're going. I know that they have all kinds of amazing, good ideas and some new changes coming down the pipes. I saw recently after Grand Lodge a couple of surveys coming out on how they want to tweak things to make it again easier flow of communication to be able to go on there. I've joined that a little over a year ago. I'm still working on module 1. It's a busy time, but it's a lifetime membership. Once you get in, you have those modules for forever until you want to finish them, and it's just a matter of what time you have to put in. That's what you get out of it. So, but it's nice to know that we have some support in that, and now we can reach out to others if we have some questions and stuff, because I really didn't know where to go with that before.
Yeah, some of the other interesting topics on our list of to-dos is we're planning a roundtable, Masonic roundtable. So I think that'll be a lot of fun to get some different points of view on Masonry from around the district and beyond. So we'll definitely be doing that. Also, one of the really cool ideas that came out of our planning that I like is having an entered apprentice come on the show in advance of his initiation, and then following him through as he advances to a Master Mason.
Another suggestion from a fellow brother in just passing. Hey guys, what do you think of this? And man, that's amazing. So again, take advantage of that email that we just shared with you. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us some of the topics you want us to discuss. We're game. We'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So a big lineup of new topics in season 2. Very much looking forward to sharing that with everyone. So we'll be busy again.
We will be busy, and again, we'll just mention too. I mean, again, within our own district, but if there is some help you need to find the podcast on your phones or even at home on your laptops, I'm game to definitely come and help out. The app, same thing. If you need some assistance finding it, because it can be a little tricky if you're not so technically experienced. But even further than that, it was nice to hear. Let's see. Very worshipful brother Doug Lane had gone on some of his tours in running for Grand Lodge, and he came across a couple of brothers up north, I think in the Sudbury area, who ended up reaching out and joining our app as well.
Good
and
stuff.
they said it was a fantastic idea, and I did not get a chance to sit with them at Grand Lodge because we were so busy, and it was just a one-day event. So definitely next year I'm going the whole week.
Yeah.
But I've come to learn that one of them has actually gone into Team App and created their own app as well.
Wonderful.
And so again, we're more than willing to not just do this for us here in the New York District, but to get out there and to help you do the same things that we're doing. It's you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
You know? Again, the farmers market idea and open house, I learned that from visiting Georgia when I went up there and found a lodge in Savannah who did it. I've not brought any brand new ideas. It's stuff you see. Again, the comment we got today, hey, it was nice to hear that on your fraternal podcast. We're going to try that. The more we get out there to share what we're doing and all the different lodges that we do it in, the more we'll be able to kind of use those models as example and then make it your own and customize it.
Yeah. Yeah, the platform's working.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
That's exactly what it means. Absolutely.
So use it.
Yeah.
Let's use it.
Yeah.
One kind of last question I have for you guys is looking back on the first season, what's the biggest surprise you had from this experience so far?
Steve, you want to try to hit that? I got to think this one out.
I don't know. I think I like I said before, I think it's the reach that it's had. I had no expectations, and now we're being listened to in Ghana and Italy.
Yeah.
It's the power of social media these days, and the power of Masonry, really, and just reaching who we've, and even the potential that it has. I mean, we're just at the beginning. We're only a few months in, and we have a long way to go as well. So that was a shocker for me.
I think I can echo that with, again, our preparation of going to Grand Lodge, and Bert and I were sitting here at one of our open houses that we just put on the fly, took a picture and said, hey, we'll see you at Grand Lodge. And I think we got flooded with a lot of comments of, oh, we can't wait to see you. And I think it was a Steve Spence out there that took a picture of himself. It's like, if I don't find you, this is what I look like. So again, it's I guess that is the biggest thing that I could say that has been really good in the reach that we've gotten, both locally, just outside, within the GTA, within the province, within Canada, Australia, other side of the world. Like, I mean, I often say to my wife, not that I'm like, hoo-hoo, look at us, but it's like, we have people in Australia that have heard Bert and Steve and Gino. Like, really? Amazing, right?
Yeah. I think it's really exciting too when you meet someone. Like, we went to Grand Lodge Communication, and I ran into someone, and they said, "Oh, it was the first time we met," and they said, "Oh, I've listened to every episode."
Yeah.
It's really cool to see that and hear that from people.
Well, we really thought, are they even going to listen? Are they going to follow? Or are they going to do again?
Who knows?
3.5 months.
Who knows?
What's going to happen?
But it was worth the effort.
Yeah,
it was worth the effort, and I think that's probably the most Masonic thing there is. The hard work pays off.
Yeah.
Right? It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be unknown.
Yeah.
We don't have all the answers. And here we are after a few months of doing this going, oh, okay, well, it seems like that actually is valuable.
Well, if we put it in that perspective, we've all just enjoyed season 1 as an apprentice.
Yeah.
And we're about to enter our fellow craft year in season 2. So just wait till we become master masons at this podcast and then beyond. So again, it's a great point. Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't mean that our aspiration is to be the old guys on the Muppets.
No, not at all.
Up in the corner.
Not at all. Although that would be fun too, right? Watch someone else eventually see where we've led them and enjoy the ride, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But and that's the other thing, like, again, we enjoy each other's company. We've been having a lot of great episodes, meeting some fantastic guys. I don't know about you guys, but I don't see this, falling apart or quitting anytime soon. So we're going to be sitting here, God willing, at 90 and 95, and I think Sprott's
talking
the
about
youngest,
the good old days,
right? Like 60.
Yeah.
And we'll be like,
Steve will be
what's
30
going
by
on,
then.
right? Who knows what technology will be like at that point?
Holograms.
Right?
Holophones.
There you go.
Well, it's been a good ride, brethren, and I guess on that note, we will end it here. We've got a lot of great stuff coming up in season 2, so stay tuned. As I said, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll be talking to you all soon.
And if I can have one last statement, thank you to all our listeners and all our subscribers. Again, we wouldn't be having this success without you guys listening and following. So, Bert, you just said it great. Thank you all to all our listeners.
There's a lot of podcasts out there, and on top of that, there's a lot of Masonic podcasts out there. So if they're listening to this, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, have a great summer night.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The First 3 Knocks. Happy to meet, sorry to part, happy to meet again.